Welcome back to the brand new Kansas Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas, here on Fox Sports Net, the NASCAR Winston West Series today. Take a look at this, Kenny. You've seen this movie before, a 1.5-mile tri-oval.
Yes, it sure is. You know, Rick, I'll tell you what, it seems like this is the most popular track on the circuit.
Let's take a look at our starting lineup today. Kevin Richards is on the outside pole, but the pole sitter is young John Wood in the Wood Brothers Auto Concierge Ford Taurus. Second row, Jason Small on the outside of the 14 car. Frank Kimmel, the defending ARCA champion, in his number 46 on the inside. Row number 3, Andy Hillenberg from Charlotte in the 48. That's the BAM Pontiac. And Austin Cameron from El Cajon, California in the Creative Touch Chevrolet, the number 12. The fourth row, Eric Norris, a couple of second places for him this year from Dallas, the Jana King Ford. And Brendan Gaughan, the defending series champion from Las Vegas. He's in the Napa Martin Senor Chevrolet. The fifth row, Bill Sedgwick, a former Winston West champion from Acton, California, the 24-hour Fitness Chevrolet. And you met Sammy Potashnik from Sikeston, Missouri, the Lucas Oil Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Row number 6 on the inside, Steve Portengay from Sparks, Nevada in the 3 car. That's the Roto-Rooter Chevrolet Monte Carlo. And outside, Tim Woods III, newly signed to Roush Racing for next year. He's from Chino Hills, California in a Taurus. Seventh row, Brandon Ash in the 23 car from Umpqua, Oregon, the United Western Grocers Ford Taurus. And the ageless one, Herschel McGriff at age 73 from Portland, the MBNA Chevrolet. The 8th row, Sean Woodside has the inside of the 45 from Saugus. And outside of the 9 car, Mike Duncan from Lamont, California, the Surface Pumps Chevrolet. In row number 9, Mark Reed, the series point leader in car number 4. That's the Dylan Sarah Lee Pontiac. And Troy Klein, the sprint car veteran, the 11 from Hawthorne, California, the Haas Automation Chevrolet. Getting to the back of the field now in the 10th row, Johnny Borneman, who has a win this year on the Tour from Ramona, California, the Red Line Oil number 8. That's a Ford. And Mike David from Modesto, California, the InjuryHelpline.com Ford. That is car number 5. In the 11th row, we talked to John O'Neill Jr. in car number 1. He's from Kansas City, the Price Chopper Chevrolet. And Jack Sellers in the 15 from Sacramento, California. That's the Dayco Belts Pontiac. 12th and final row today, we'll have Kazuki Saito from Tokyo, Japan. We met him earlier in the Pioneer Chevrolet. And Scott Gaylord in the 00, the Oliver Gravity Separator Chevrolet. He will start in the 24th position today. So Kenny Wallace, 24 cars on hand. Some really good cars up front. John Wood, Frank Kimmel, Andy Hillenberg. This ought to be a good one.
Rick, I'm excited. I think I'm going to learn something. You know, I'm going to be here in the Busch Series in a couple months.
That's right. Well, let's take a look at some of our onboard views that we'll have for you here this afternoon. First, the Jana King Ford for Eric Norris. He's from Dallas, Texas. Norris lines up the 32 car in 7th spot today. We'll look through the windshield of that machine as he hits the banking here. We'll also take you for a ride in Brendan Gaughan's Napa Chevrolet, the 16 car. Gaughan qualifying alongside Norris in the 4th row. So we'll have plenty of action from the first 8 or 10 starting spots today. Sean Woodside will take us for a ride as well in the 45 car. He starts in the 15th spot at the inside of row number 8 alongside Mike Duncan's machine, and he needs a good run today. We'll also be riding with Mark Reed, who's been the series point leader almost from the start of the season in car number 4. That is the Food for Less Pontiac, and Reed did not qualify particularly well. He starts back in 17th. That may be his worst starting spot of the year.
I don't think it really matters. These guys have entertained us all year long. 5 to 10 drivers have been able to win, you know, and I don't think it matters where they start.
Now, one of the drivers who should be a contender here today, Mike Duncan, back in the 8th row. He had problems getting going down on pit road. Brent Stover standing by with his crew chief.
All right, the Mike Duncan car was supposed to start 16th, had some problems right out of the box. What seems to be the situation?
It's the kill switch that NASCAR mandates us to run. It just kind of malfunctioned a little bit, but it's good now.
So are you okay? You're going to start in the back, but obviously right now you've got a big challenge.
Yeah, we're going to start in the back, but this is a good race car, Surface Pumps Chevrolet Monte Carlo, so we'll be all right.
Is it tough to put a situation like that behind you? I mean, a tough start for the day.
Yeah, he's fine right now. Everybody's on the same page, new racetrack and everything, so we'll be good.
Now, when a kill switch goes bad, Kenny, why would you have trouble getting the car started?
I can tell you that every time I get in my Busch Grand National car, I will accidentally touch that kill switch. You need to locate that thing on the steering wheel where you won't accidentally hit it. Sounds to me like he just might have accidentally hit it, putting his steering wheel on, and didn't know it.
Refired the car, and he's back on the racetrack. Well, we're going to grab a quick timeout here at the Kansas Speedway before we get ready to put this one under green. The NASCAR Winston West Series, 8th event of the 2001 season, next up on Fox Sports Net. Welcome back to the Kansas Speedway, Kansas City, Kansas. I'm Rick Benjamin. Winston Cup star Kenny Wallace is alongside Brent Stover on pit road for us today. About ready to send 24 cars on their way in the 8th event of the 2001 NASCAR Winston West Series season. Kenny, you've got John Wood up front. He's been strong when we've watched him this year, but he is a youngster, 19 years old. Kevin Richards has been quick in many places. The guy I want to watch is Frank Kimmel, the ARCA champion, who starts inside the second row.
Man, I think you hit it dead on. You know, Frank Kimmel's the guy right now that has got a ton of experience on these big mile-and-a-half racetracks. So, I mean, this is it, Rick. Here they come to the green, the first race ever at Kansas City. I'm excited.
You've got Austin Cameron, Eric Norris, and Brendan Gaughan also right in that front group of cars, about ready to put this one underway. And remember, the point leader, Mark Reed, has to come from way back in the 9th row. Green's in the air. We're underway here on Fox.
Wow, not a very good start by John Wood.
He got up high on the racetrack there. Looked like Kimmel was going to go down underneath as we watched Saito there in the 18 car for a moment. And Richards in the 85 has jumped up to the early lead.
Yeah, John Wood all the way back to 5th. Now you can see him starting to come back on the inside of the 4th place car there. Here we are, first lap at Kansas City.
Frank Kimmel moving to second spot, or trying to get second spot away from one of the other machines, from Jason Small's car. Kimmel in that red and black 46 car, the Advance Auto Parts Chevrolet.
Man, Rick, I'm already impressed. Look at that. No problems on the outside. A brand new racetrack, you're usually concerned about the outside groove. You know, everybody wants the inside. These guys are already running too wide with no problems.
Now, there's not much rubber down here, but you do have brand new asphalt to work with.
Brand new asphalt right in the middle of the Midwest. The aggregate's good. It means the people that pave this track aren't going to have any problem. They're used to this heat. So a great job already.
Richards is your leader in the 85. Kimmel now second in the 46, and John Wood rides third in the 50 car in the opening couple of laps here at Kansas. Jason Small right up there. He qualified very well in the second row in that 14 car in the Ken Small Construction Chevrolet. There's a challenge for the lead. Looks like Kimmel wants to try to shove his way by Richards. Can't get the job done.
Rick, when Frank Kimmel tried to go to the inside there, he's got to get the pass made, because when you're running 200 mile an hour going on the inside of these racetracks, you got to make sure that the aerodynamics are able to get to your right rear spoiler. Here he goes again. Let's watch him. Ooh, right down there on the white line. Making a great pass.
Kimmel pushes by on the underneath side of the 85 car, so give Frank Kimmel the lead here in the early going at Kansas. Now, Kenny, let's talk about this just for a second. Kimmel's the ARCA champion. The ARCA cars, very much copies of Winston Cup type machines, as are the Winston West race cars, but they run different tires.
Well, they sure do, you know, and it's more of a benefit to these drivers, because these guys are not the type that just totally race for a living, Rick. I mean, these guys, some of them have jobs, and we're looking at a budget for their tires. So I think it's a great rule in the Winston West Series. Keeps these guys to where they can afford to race every week. As we're in the Winston Cup or the Busch, it's unlimited.
Yeah.
You know, when you run a race, you can spend thousands of dollars.
Now, Kenny, some of these guys, like Kimmel, have another problem. They're going to run 2 races in one day. How hard is that on the driver and the team?
Physically, you got to make sure you're drinking enough water, but it's going to be a great advantage of these guys. If they run the next race, they're going to be ready to go. Wow, look at there. Kevin Richards slows up. John Wood almost runs in the back of him. Kevin Richards looked like he might have got loose, or I think he's got a problem.
Sure does look that way. Kevin Richards was up in front, started on the outside of the front row, jumped to the lead early, but he's going to head to pit road here, it looks like, in the 85 car. So Richards was a contender, but it looks like this may take him out of contention, and that frees up the 46 machine for Kimmel to just set sail now. He's opened up a big lead.
Man, oh man, that's what you call a bummer, folks. Kevin Richards up there running in the second spot, new racetrack, not even 10 laps into it, and looks like we're going to have to find out what happened later on. But look at this guy, Frank Kimmel. I mean, he's setting sail.
A couple of ARCA championships under his belt, and he's been a dominator in ARCA this season with 4 victories, including he put a string of 3 in a row together earlier in the year. So that is a strong race team. There's no doubt about it.
You know, Rick, when we came out here last year with the NASCAR Series, we did the grand opening of this racetrack, and I think they thought about everything. I mean, the fans are sitting high. The guy in the bottom row, the lady in the bottom row, they can see the front stretch as we watch Frank Kimmel go through turns 1 and 2. This racetrack is just flawless.
Now, Kimmel's got such a good race car, too. He can afford to be patient, Kenny. He didn't push it hard at the drop of the green flag. He settled back for a couple of laps and then just eased his way to the front. Look how strong that car is.
And I tell you, Rick, that's what you got to do on a racetrack where you're entering the corners at almost 200 mile an hour. You know, this isn't a short track where if the car gets loose, you can save it. Oh, look here. I was talking about saving it.
Yeah. Looks like Kazuki Saito has gotten into the wall. He's shortened up that Chevrolet on the back end.
Well, you know, you led me into a perfect scenario here. You know, that's what Frank was doing. It's a new racetrack. You're testing the facility. You're testing it. You know, every time we go to a racetrack we've run year after year, you know where the bumps are. You know the good points, the bad points. And And poor Kazuki Saito here must have found a bad area here at the new racetrack for himself.
7 laps of 100 are on the board. First caution of the day here at the Kansas Speedway. Kazuki Saito hasn't dropped the window net yet in his Chevrolet. Hopefully he's fine. We'll find out when we come back.